The opinions and suggestions expressed on the following program are solely those of the participants and not necessarily endorsed by program sponsors or any radio station, media company, or platform broadcasting this program. The following program is a product of Causeway LLC. The information in this broadcast is not intended as investment, tax, or financial advice. Matthew Moore is not a licensed investment advisor and speaks solely from his experience and opinions. All information in this broadcast is for entertainment or educational purposes only. Matthew Moore, Causeway LLC, and the company or platform broadcasting this program is not responsible for the success or failure of any person's investment decisions or purchases. Matthew Moore, Causeway LLC, and the company or platform broadcasting this program makes no and expressly disclaims all representations, warranties, and guarantees with respect to this broadcast and its sponsors. Investing in any market is inherently risky and can be financially dangerous. Invest at your own risk.
Government officials insist we will continue to inform as this story unfolds.
Welcome to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore, the Bitcoin-focused radio show that's waking the masses to the fiat money Ponzi scheme. Money is changing, and your freedom is at stake. So stick around and learn how to empower yourself for this new digital age. Now, here's your host, Matthew J. Moore.
Welcome, America, and welcome, world. No matter where you are or who you are or what you're doing, I want to welcome every single one of you Bitcoin lovers, newbies, and experts, because you know what? You are now listening to Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore, and yes, we are one of the only, if not the only, syndicated radio shows in the nation dedicated to that topic known as Bitcoin, a show where you're going to learn about money, liberty, history, technology, and so much more, because there's so much that goes into the topic of Bitcoin. You would be entirely surprised if you're new to this space. But on today's show, we're going to talk about one of the greatest events, and this is an opinion of mine, but it's an amazing event. It's one of these events in the world where you will meet people that you never thought you would meet. You're going to meet millionaires, billionaires in flip-flops. You got parties, you got education, you got the beach. I mean, there's so much that goes into this event. And I'm not exaggerating here. It really is something special. And if you're into Bitcoin or even curious about this event, this radio show, we are an official media partner, and both me and my co-host Eric, who unfortunately couldn't be here, have gone twice now, and we have never been disappointed. Every year it gets better and better. What event is this? This is Bitcoin 2023. This is the Bitcoin conference, the largest Bitcoin conference in the world. And if you are a Bitcoiner of any kind, or maybe you're just curious, you gotta go, because you're gonna learn, you're gonna network, you're gonna party, you're gonna enjoy the beach, you're gonna have so much to do. It's just gonna blow your mind, because Bitcoin 2023, it takes place in Miami, Florida. And I want you to write this down. If you're gonna listen to this show today and you like what we had to say about this event, you're like, you know what, Matt, I kind of want to go check this out. I kind of want to participate in this event. Well, you can do that at a discount. We can give you a 10% discount on your tickets. Just go to mattjmoore.com. That's more with 2 O's, and click that button that takes you to the official conference page. And once you're there, use our promo code BTC Radio, and that will let the conference know that you heard about the conference from us. And so we'd really, really appreciate that. But it's a phenomenal time. It's a phenomenal event. And I think you're going to be blown away today when we talk about what really goes into this event. So, but before we do that, I need to introduce you to my producer who, hey, he keeps me sounding good. His name's Brian LaRue, and he is going to fill in for Eric Cooper since Eric's not here. He's going to fill in as my co-host. So, Brian, you are extremely talented. You have made our intros and outros, our music, our theme music. You keep us sounding good. You're for hire, I hear, when it comes to this kind of stuff. So if people were interested in maybe producing a podcast, maybe an intro and outro, where would they go?
Yeah, Matt, certainly. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful day in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you would like to hire me for any kind of work, podcast, media related, music related, you can go to www.beyondyouproductions.com.
That's right. And we are sitting here, like Brian was saying, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This radio program actually broadcasts in LA, Atlanta, and Seattle. And we're all over the world since we're also on the web as a podcast. So I would encourage you, if you miss an episode, you can always check us out on every major podcast platform. We record these shows in Tulsa at SoonerMarketingSolutions.com. They have a wonderful podcast studio that we utilize every single week. And if you've got some marketing needs, well, go check them out at Sooner networkmarketingsolutions.com. All right, well, without any further delay, let's bring on our guest today and unpack this conference known as Bitcoin 2023. The guy that we have on today, his name is Brandon Green, and he works for the group that puts on this epic conference. So, Brandon, welcome to the show. And please do me a favor. Please share with us about who you are and what you do for the Bitcoin conference.
Hey, Matthew, it's really great to be on. Super excited to chat with you about the conference. I'll give you the quick background of who I am, and yeah, we can just get right into it. So, like you said, I'm Brandon Green. I've been working at BTC Inc., the parent company of the conference, since 2017. And I am now actually, I run the conference. I'm the head of the conference. I'm the head of events. So I do a little bit of everything for it. I help manage the team that runs it. And, my passion and where I got my start on the event is in the programming side. So the speakers, the content, the agenda. That's still kind of my heart and soul. And I work a little bit on that specifically. But yeah, I'm kind of the jack of all trades nowadays.
I love it, man. Well, on a personal level, I always kind of like to ask people this question, because it kind of gives us some background. But on a personal level, how did you personally stumble into Bitcoin?
Yeah, I don't have one of those just grandiose stories, but it is a little funny. So I went to, I hear you guys are Sooners, but I went to the University of Alabama for the whole time. And when I was there, I actually met David Bailey, who is the CEO of the company. He's also an Alabama guy, and our co-founder, Tyler, also an Alabama guy. So there's a little bit of a Alabama, cult that's in the BTC Inc. ranks. And so, a bunch of crimson blood there. So I met them. I didn't know anything about Bitcoin, but I had a free summer after I graduated before I started my full-time job. And I, thought it was a cool sounding thing, this Bitcoin thing. And so I said, hey, got a free summer. If you need someone to move boxes, I can't help really outside of that, but I'd be happy to. And they said, sure, come on, do it. And they're based over in Nashville, Tennessee. And so, I hightailed it over to Nashville and got my start in kind of the industry. And I've learned everything I know about Bitcoin from those guys and some of the guys over at Bitcoin Magazine, like Aaron Van Werdum and Pete Rizzo and a bunch of other characters over there. So it's been quite the journey.
Well, there's no better education there. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, Brandon, I think that's awesome. One question is, can you share with us more about the organization that puts on the epic event known as the Bitcoin Conference?
Absolutely, yeah. So BTC Inc. And Bitcoin Magazine. So BTC Inc. owns Bitcoin Magazine. Bitcoin Magazine's been around since 2011. It was founded by a guy named Vitalik Buterin, who we bought it from in 2014 so that he could go start this project called Ethereum, which is the second largest cryptocurrency in the world. And so we took it on starting in 2014, and we've been running it ever since. The company itself, we've got, because we've been here since 2013, 2014, we've done a little bit of everything in the space. We were all into sort of the enterprise blockchain world for a while, the broader cryptocurrency world. But, the longer we stayed in, the longer we've, learned about and covered and wrote about and did conferences for all these different aspects of, the crypto and blockchain world, the more we realized that really a lot of it's just not going to work, or it's not important, or it just pales in comparison to Bitcoin, which is really why we're all excited about, not only this space, but really about the future of the world. And so, in 2019, we came together as an organization and we basically said, look, I guess it was the end of 2018. There's no reason for us to be spending so much time focused on all of these things that aren't Bitcoin when we're not sure if any of them are really going to work. And we know that Bitcoin is the future of, the global reserve currency of the world, right? And so why not just hone in our vision, hone in what we're doing, and just focus on what we know is important, which is Bitcoin. And so we started the conference right then and there. We said there's no gathering place for Bitcoiners anymore. So why don't we create a conference where all the noise is weeded out? You don't have to hear other people talk about other cryptos or other coins or blockchain or, this and that. We can create a dedicated space for Bitcoin. And the market told us that was a great idea, and we've grown like crazy ever since.
Wow, that's honestly fascinating. How long you've done this for? How many years has the Bitcoin conference been going on for?
Yeah, so we started it. Our first conference was Bitcoin 2019, and we started that technically in the end of 2018, and then 2019 had 2,000 people. It was a huge success. We parlayed that straight into Bitcoin 2020, which was supposed to be in March of 2020, and as you can imagine, a couple of global incidents got in the way of us doing that event, aka COVID. So we quickly put that on ice and waited until the market allowed us and the government allowed us to do the conference again. And so we did it again in 2021, which it sounds like was when you guys first came into the encounter the conference, and that was in Miami. And 2022 was last year. So this will be our fourth year doing it, our fourth actual iteration of it.
Yeah, no, I'm a Bitcoin class of 2017 when I first kind of got into the space. But, when it was going to the conference, me and Eric, 2021 was really our first experience. And then 2022 just blew our socks off even more. And now 2023, we're really looking forward to it. But one thing that is evident is that this event, no doubt, has been growing leaps and bounds. What can we expect differently at Bitcoin 2023?
Yeah, the conference actually serves kind of a different role based on the broader Bitcoin market, right? And so in 2019, when we launched it, needless to say, it was a lot smaller than it was today. But the focus wasn't really on being big. The focus was on providing utility to the community. And, in 2019, we were basically coming off of this fork war in Bitcoin,
right?
Which was in this giant ICO bubble where all of the attention was divided across a ton of different projects. The community for Bitcoin specifically was divided in half, right? You had some people who thought big blocks and on-chain transactions were the answer, and you had people who thought that layered scaling was the answer, right? To how you bring Bitcoin to the world. And it was bitter. It was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of people, still haven't returned to Bitcoin. They're still, out in Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV or, these other projects now because they just fundamentally disagreed with the idea that you could scale a blockchain through, Lightning Network and off-chain and all these other kind of things. And so when we did the conference, we really saw it as this moment for people to kind of heal wounds and just come back together. I mean, these are all people who knew each other. The community wasn't that big back then. Everyone knew, most everyone else in the space who was a CEO or a builder or really active in it. And so this conference was really like, come back and just sit in the same room as each other and let's figure out how we can keep building Bitcoin into, what we believe is the future of the world. And so it was magical. It was this moment where true excitement came back to Bitcoin. People were having fun with it again. People were enjoying spending time with each other. You could just go out and get a beer and talk about Bitcoin and not be worried about getting bombarded by upset people or people looking to sell you some other coin.
Right.
And it was kind of the magic of that moment is really what propelled us forward. And, I can tell you that multiple companies in the space, I guess I can maybe dangle a couple of them, like River, for instance, and Swan. They both got their kind of inspiration and maybe even the kickoff conversation at Bitcoin 2019. And so just right there, I feel like that conference did enough for the industry just to provide value. And there's a bunch of others that kind of got their start or co-founders met for the first time. Or investment happened behind the scenes. All of that happened at 2019.
Well,
okay, so
go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to kind of paint the story. So 2019 was like the bottom of that bear market. And then we grew into what was 2021 eventually, which was this entirely different world, right? 2021, we were in a bull market and we were in a crazy bull market at that. Elon had come out a couple months earlier saying, he was in Bitcoin, Tesla was accepting Bitcoin, and the price pumped basically from 3,800 in 2020 all the way to 65,000 in 2021. And so it was this moment of kind of like euphoria, and we were the first in-person conference in the world at that point, post-COVID. And so it was also this euphoria of people just being able to get back together. And so the conference really took on this vibe of just like, let's enjoy each other, let's celebrate Bitcoin, let's have fun, and keep learning and look at everything that's changed over the past couple of years since we last got together, but also look forward into like where we're going and how crazy kind of this has all already gotten. And obviously at the end of that conference, Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, announced Bitcoin as legal tender for the entire country, which, turned the entire conference on its head a little bit further and really punctuated the event. And, it became like this moment in time, like history was made at Bitcoin 2021. And so that really set us up then for Bitcoin 2022, which was, this kind of capstone event. I mean, it was the end of kind of a bull market, and all of these companies had made so much money, and all these people had gotten, learned about Bitcoin for the first time. All of these famous folks, we had the Aaron Rodgers, Serena Williams, Peter Thiel, and Ricardo Salinas, who's a Mexican billionaire. And I mean, the list just goes on. There's just so many incredible folks who came to this conference. And it was like this fleeting moment of like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is real and it's mainstream. And then the market came, the bottom came out, right? And so I say all of this to kind of build us up to 2023, right? Where the market has contracted significantly. Many of the players who dominated the space, dominated headlines for the past 2 and 3 years are gone.
Right.
They collapsed. And FTX being the most obvious, but you had Celsius, you had Voyager, BlockFi, you had Genesis, DCG, GBTC, Grayscale. I mean, like so many of these companies that are just juggernauts are gone. And so the question is, as a community, how do we rebuild, right? And not only how do we rebuild what was already there, but how do we rebuild better and with Bitcoin values at our core? And so that's going to be really the focus of this conference. It's we had the most crazy past 4 years you could possibly imagine, starting at literally the bottom, $3,000 Bitcoin prices, and growing into something that really started to take on the legacy financial system, but was built on some real flaws in how yield worked, how crypto broadly worked, and kind of how Bitcoin took a back seat to a lot of what was happening. So, the question that I challenge all of our speakers with, the question that we're focusing on as we're building out the content, and the question that we're going to be asking of our attendees is, what can you do? What do you know? What's your unique skill set that you can bring to the table at this conference so that we leave on May 20th knowing that our industry is in good hands, that we're stronger than ever, and that the future is laid out in front of us in a way that we can build back and we can create a better system for the entire world. So I leave you guys on that one with this long ramble. And,
The opinions and suggestions.
No, you're good. You're good, man. It really is something amazing. But we gotta run to break here. We'll be right back, and we got more great conversation about the Bitcoin conference. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. What does it mean to be physically, spiritually, and financially free? The right to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, these were the ideas that made America. But what happens to these ideas when America's money becomes compromised? What do you do when the very thing that you're working for day after day is fundamentally designed to enslave you? Whether it was a conspiracy or not, you won't believe what is about to happen in this country. Arm yourself today with the truth and build your life on the foundations for liberty. Rediscover freedom in the 21st century and grab a copy of my Amazon best-selling book, Foundations for Liberty. For just $11.99, you can support this radio show by finding a copy on Amazon or by going to mattjmoore.com. Again, that's mattjmoore.com. Don't wait, because freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Do you have a strategy to obtain Bitcoin on a regular basis? Do you plan to automate your dollar cost averaging? What about getting all or part of your paycheck in Bitcoin? GetHedge.io is revolutionizing how you get paid. Hedge makes it easy to automatically convert your pay into Bitcoin. Whether you're an employer or employee, you can get started in 4 easy steps. Start getting paid in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. The great part about using Hedge is you can skip the exchange experience altogether and have your Bitcoin sent directly to a wallet you control. Self-custody is key, and GetHedge is giving you the power. Hedge is here to make it easy to stack those sats month after month. Bitcoin, it's a long-term play, so what are you waiting for? Start living on the Hedge, and don't forget to let them know that you heard about Hedge from Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Use my referral link at mattjmoore.com, or you can go to gethedge.io. Again, that's gethedge.io.
Short-form video content is taking over social media, and with only seconds to capture someone's attention, our team can help you stand out from the crowd. At Sooner Marketing Solutions, we'll produce and publish engaging TikToks, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. If you feel like you're falling to the wayside and missing out on the exposure that you deserve, click the link in the description to get Sooner results now.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-262-4182. 800-262-4182. That's 800-262-4182.
Welcome back, America. Guess what? It's round 2 of America's Bitcoin-focused radio show, and whether you are a Bitcoin lover, newbie, or expert, we've got a little bit of something for everybody, and we even welcome all the haters, because you know what? We hope you stick around. We hope you learn something, because we made this show just for you. This is Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore, and yes, we are one of the only syndicated radio shows in the nation that is dedicated to that topic known as Bitcoin. So it's a show where you're going to learn about things like what is money and how does your freedom and liberty apply to that, and history. Like, there's so much history that goes into all of these topics. Technology, energy, the list just keeps going on and on. But today's show, we've been talking about one of the greatest events, in my opinion, in the world, and that is Bitcoin 2023. And if you are into Bitcoin or even curious about it, this is a great, let me rephrase this. This is the great Bitcoin migration, because we're all going to Miami, Florida. But our radio show is an official media partner, and both me and my co-host Eric, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, have gone twice now. And every year it just keeps getting better and better. So if you want to meet some of the biggest names in Bitcoin, this is the place to be. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. And if you want to come and hey, meet us and experience all this hype that we're talking about today, write this down. If you want a 10% discount on your tickets to the conference, go to mattjmoore.com. That's more with 2 O's, mattjmoore.com, and click on that button that takes you to the official conference page and use our promo code BTC Radio. That's going to get you 10% off your tickets. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. It's definitely worth the money. And I got to say, unfortunately, since Eric couldn't be here, one person who is here quite frequently is my producer, Brian LaRue. He's running the soundboard, making sure I sound crisp to the ear. But Brian is going to fill in as our co-host. Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. How you doing, Matt?
Excellent. Well, hey, good. You were the guy, the mastermind behind our intros and outros, and you really make this show sound great. And you are for hire. So when it comes to music and mixing and podcasts and radio, where would people go if they wanted to hire you?
Well, simply just go online to my website at beyondyouproductions.com and have a whole list of services and things you can check out. And I'd love to be able to help you and and work with you. So
yeah, definitely worth it. But we are here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is where this radio show broadcasts from. We are in LA, Seattle, and Atlanta, but we are based here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we are sitting here in Blue Studio, which is a part of SoonerMarketingSolutions.com. So if you've got any marketing needs, definitely go check out SoonerMarketingSolutions.com. They've got a wonderful list of services. But we're going to go ahead and drum up the rest of this conversation, and we're going to bring back our guest today and talk about the Bitcoin 2023 conference. His name is Brandon Green, and he works for that company that puts on this epic conference. And Brandon, the one thing I love about radio is you got to keep repeating yourself all the time because you never know when new listeners are jumping in the car and turning on that radio. So one more time, please introduce yourself to listeners who are just now tuning in.
Hey, everybody, it's Brandon Green. I work at BTC Inc., and we're the organizers of the Bitcoin conference.
Well, and Brandon, one of my favorite aspects, I've got to say this, is, since we've been to the conference twice and this is going to be our third year, one of my favorite aspects is doing the trade hall and exhibits. I'll be honest, I actually spend 90% of my time in the trade hall and exhibits just talking to people, because it's like, how many times in a year do you get to gather with some of the greatest Bitcoiners and the greatest minds in the world and just kind of like, talk? It's amazing. I mean, I love the education too. I love every aspect of it, the parties as well. But what do you think is the biggest value proposition of the conference?
Yeah, well, Matthew, that's one of them for sure, because, the beauty of Bitcoin is it's decentralized, right? Which means that there is no Silicon Valley, there is no Harvard, there is no single place to go where all the Bitcoin companies are. Our conference is kind of a pseudo that, because we work our butts off to make sure that we can get as many of these companies from around the world all in one place to come, talk about what they're doing and build the relationships and the partnerships and the deals that kind of propel them for the next year or so. And so they all kind of have to be there ultimately. And so, yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it is the one place you can kind of go to meet all of the companies, all of the folks who are working in the Bitcoin industry. And, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking to invest, if you're looking to build relationships with those companies, it's the place to do it for sure.
Well, okay, another epic part of the conference is, I got to say, last year, how do you say his name? deadmau5, I think is the name of the DJ. That was epic. And then I think I went to the one with Tiesto at, I can't remember what club it was, but there's all these satellite events and parties that go on after hours. What should we expect to see or experience when it comes to, those fun parties?
Yeah, totally. So, part of the beauty of being located in Miami is it's a fun city. And so we like to work with some of the, clubs and nightclubs and bars and all sorts of spots around the city, so that after the conference, you're right, there's always kind of fun things to do. And a lot of the folks who are coming to the conference are even kind of planning their own satellite events, their own meetups. Weirdly, pickleball. That's always one that we noticed last year, especially, and this year the demand is right back. That people love pickleballs. So there's a couple of pickleball tournaments. There's going to be some parties. We have an after party as well that we're throwing. So definitely some fun nightlife and after hours stuff to do.
Have any of the artists been announced yet?
None of the artists have been announced yet. Okay,
cool. Well, right now I gotta let people know. We are talking about the conference here at Bitcoin 2023. People can go to our website, mattjmoore.com, and click on that conference section of the website and use our promo code BTC Radio for 10% off their tickets. But if you don't mind me asking, share with the listeners about the pricing of the event, because the sooner they buy their tickets, the better, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing that we like to do is just like Bitcoin number go up, conference ticket price number go up too. So, it's funny. We don't really do it because we want to raise ticket prices at all. But what we've noticed is that if we do this, kind of ticket price hike mechanism, it means that people don't wait to the last minute to buy their tickets. Mm-hmm. And so then we have a much better time, not only planning for them, but also utilizing the people coming to kind of spread the word. So yeah, tickets right now are $750 for a GA pass. That's why that sweet BTC radio discount code you were talking about really comes in handy. And yeah, it's a high price, but we started them at I think $250 a ticket.
Right.
So they just slowly march up, and so it really gets you. It incentivizes you to get your ticket as early as possible.
Oh yeah, well, and it's definitely worth the money, no matter what price it is. I mean, it's the experience and the people you meet and the time you have. Oh gosh, it's priceless. But let's talk about this. There's been some groundbreaking announcements that have been made at the conference in the past, and I know you can't spill any beans necessarily, but can we expect any major announcements that might be groundbreaking in Bitcoin 2023?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking to the folks right now who are planning some pretty big announcements. I couldn't tell you what they are right now, just because I'm not allowed to tell you what they are right now. But I can put it this way, we've been assured that news will be made and the Bitcoin, world will be changed at our conference yet again. So if that's not reason to come, I don't know what is.
Absolutely, Brandon. One question is, what's been the biggest thing that's often raved about when it comes to the Bitcoin conference?
What's been raved about?
Yeah, no pun intended. I don't know. But
yeah, it's really part of the beauty of the conference is that it's so many things to so many people, kind of like Bitcoin is so many things to so many people, right? I mean, you have devs here who are just excited about working on the open source software and being able to kind of meet their fellow devs, collaborate on new, protocol improvements or layered solutions. Whether some of the new tech even that's going on between ordinals and side chains, drive chains. There's even an announcement about rollups the other day. So. Tons of technical excitement over there, but you have other people who are here just to, hear from kind of the leaders and kind of rekindle that fire and excitement about Bitcoin that, drove them here in the first place and got them excited about Bitcoin. And you've got other people who just want to come party. So, it runs the gambit, and you got everyone in between. You also have tons of business folks who are looking to make deals there. Like I said earlier, you've got people who are there to make investments. Tons of whales who are there to kind of invest in funds, invest in companies, et cetera. So yeah, it's hard to pin down just one specific thing that people talk about. We kind of cater to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of leaders, who has been some of the most requested speakers at the conference, and why? Why is that?
Yeah, good question. So a newcomer to the scene recently is Casey Redimore. He's the guy who invented ordinals. And when I say invented ordinals could have existed kind of without him. It's just he's the one who kind of put it all together and figured out that this was a thing. And so, now you have this entire inscriptions on Bitcoin and, maybe the whole NFT thing, like it or hate it. My jury's out on it, but the fact is you can do it on Bitcoin now. So why use any of these other cryptocurrencies where it's a less secure chain and the actual data for it isn't even stored on chain. It's stored on some centralized server somewhere. Bitcoin is the perfect solution to it. So he's going to be speaking there. He's a really cool newcomer. Michael Lewis is speaking at the conference. I mean, this is kind of one of those things that is kind of crazy. I mean, in the whole FTX fiasco, we'll put it that way, that happened over the past year, Michael Lewis has been living with Sam in the Bahamas, writing what was, I'm sure, supposed to be a glorious, happy biography about how great he is, and now has the inside scoop on how literally everything went down there. So he's going to be speaking at the conference. And if you don't know, he's the author of The Big Short and Moneyball and Liar's Poker and some of New York Times bestsellers when it comes to finance and the financial world. And so, yeah, he's going to be there. I don't know. I can keep going. Jack Mallers is, of course, going to be back. He's
always
the one
a favorite.
Who's made a couple of groundbreaking announcements at the conference, and he's just very charismatic. So we're excited to have him.
I heard we had Greg Foss on the show not too long ago, and he said that I think he was moderating a conversation last time, but I think now he's got a speaking slot. Is that correct?
Yeah, Foss the Boss is back. He'll be there. He's so fun, and he's such a good guy. So excited to talk with him. And he's had his own journey with Bitcoin through kind of the truckers movement in Canada, and him being like a bond trader as a background. I mean, he's a very fascinating guy. So always loving being able to put him in front of our audience.
Yeah. One question that I ask is, how do you guys determine the speakers at the conference? Like, what is the process for that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, first and foremost, we have a contact form on the website, and we get tons, an astounding number of inbound speaker requests all the time from really cool people. So that's definitely one way that we do it. We literally just, have them write in. And then the second thing is, because we run Bitcoin Magazine, we keep our finger on the pulse of some of the movers and shakers in the Bitcoin space, the CEOs, the writers, the thinkers, the Twitter posters, even sometimes. It just depends on what we're looking for. And so we build out the agenda. We come up with sort of the topics that we think are interesting, and then we go find those speakers who can speak on them as well.
Is Giga Chad Michael Saylor going to be there this year?
Of course.
Okay.
We couldn't do it without him, right?
That's right. Well, how do you guys think the crowd's going to compare to the past years?
Yeah. So, this is something that I was kind of hitting on earlier in the show. Because we're down, the market's smaller. We expect not maybe to be as big as last year. I mean, we're pacing to be as big as last year, but I'm not holding my breath that it's quite as crazy. But what that means is that we have kind of the opportunity to look around and see, who is here. And the folks who are coming are the folks that are still building. I mean, the tourists really are the ones that aren't coming back.
Right.
The tourists, the ones who are, looking for the spectacle and just showing up kind of to have fun. Those are the ones who are going to come in the next bull market. The people who are here are the ones who truly understand what's going on and are actively, inserting their hands into the process to help build the, Bitcoin. And so, we're probably going to wind up, I would think, somewhere in the 15,000 person range. Could be substantially more, could be slightly less, but I don't think too much less. And so, that's kind of what we're expecting, which is still put us as, the largest conference in the space by far, and one of the largest conferences in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, do you think that there will be some more mainstream media coverage? How do you guys expect that to happen?
Yeah, the media has been hitting us up in force, so we expect kind of all the mainstream folks to be there, just as they were last year. I think that they caught a glimpse of something that they had no idea what was going on and felt like they were completely missing out. And so they're paying attention now, and they'll be there in force for sure.
Awesome. Well, here's something to consider when, obviously somebody in your position with the conference. What are some of the future goals and objectives for the event moving forward? Do you guys have any game plan?
Yeah, well, there's kind of two things that we think about as a conference, right? And a media organization. The number one thing is just where are cool things happening in Bitcoin, right? And so Miami is obvious because Mayor Suarez down there came out very publicly pro Bitcoin and started doing a lot of crypto stuff, but still a lot of Bitcoin stuff in the city. And he takes his own salary, for instance, in Bitcoin. So that's always a great place to be. But we're looking kind of outside of Miami too, and internationally. Maybe you do know this, maybe you don't, but we did our first conference in Amsterdam.
I saw that
late last year.
Yeah, and
it was really cool. We had 3,000 people there, which is sizable for a first year event. Surprisingly big for a first year event. And we're planning to do that again. And really, we see this conference as kind of a tool for hyper Bitcoinization in and of itself. We reach out to these different locations, and they reach out to us sometimes, and they want to know, how do we get the conference there? And we're basically like, well, what are you doing for Bitcoin, right? What's the narrative for us to have a conference there? And so, it's kind of cool to use the conference as that kind of tool to even further Bitcoin adoption in certain jurisdictions.
So you guys, we've got probably about a minute before we got to go to break here, but
Sure.
Bitcoin 2023 has been, or Bitcoin, the conference, the one that you put on has been in Miami for a long time. Are people trying to compete to move the conference? Is there, what's going on there?
Yeah, we're actually, it's not something we really talk about publicly, but we have been talking to some other cities. Really, they've been talking to us. There's some real excitement from other places about us moving the conference. Truthfully, the city of Miami has been great to us. So I think if we can, lock it in there, that'd be awesome. But I'm not going to lie, there's quite a lot of demand outside of Miami for us to move the flagship. So there's nothing solid that's confirmed yet, but I've got a feeling we'll have an announcement at the conference about maybe either a new home or an official homing of the conference in Miami, one of the two.
Well, if it's, just me personally, if it's not on a beach, I'm going to be very sad. So, but that's just me. Well, if you're listening to this show on the radio, hey, I want you to stay put because we have a lot more content to cover. And if you're listening to the show on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts, no matter what platform you're using, go ahead and do me a favor and leave us a comment, like, share, subscribe, post. We want to get the word out about this show. We want people to know about this great conference. So be a part of the conversation and let us know what you think. Are you going to be coming to the conference? Because if you are, we got a discount code, BTC Radio, that's going to get you 10% off your tickets. You can go to my website, mattjmoore.com, and you can find all of the details. We will be right back with more great content. The sun, beaches, parties, education, and Bitcoin. This is the recipe for Bitcoin 2023, the largest Bitcoin conference in the world. Ever thought about meeting industry experts? It's the who's who of Bitcoin, and you can't miss it. Join us in Miami, Florida for the annual Bitcoin conference. Use my promo code BTC Radio at checkout. That's BTC Radio. Learn more at mattjmoore.com.
Okay, I'm talking funny because I'm in the witness protection program. I have too much credit card debt and I don't want people to find me.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about credit card debt. Right, those plastic things that we all have in our wallet. Are you in your 50s or 60s and you're still carrying around a mound of credit card debt? Wouldn't it be nice to start banking that money and save a little money for retirement down the road? We help people restructure their credit card debt all the time. We show people how they can get out of credit card debt in months, not years. Listen, you'll be carrying around credit card debt for the rest of your life unless you deal with it right now. We offer a free consultation so you can learn how you can finally wipe out your credit card debt and start saving money. Give us a free call right now.
Call Debt Solutions Network now. 800-593-0298. 800-593-0298. That's 800-593-0298.
Do you have a strategy to obtain Bitcoin on a regular basis? Do you plan to automate your dollar cost averaging? What about getting all or part of your paycheck in Bitcoin? GetHedge.io is revolutionizing how you get paid. Hedge makes it easy to automatically convert your pay into Bitcoin. Whether you're an employer or employee, you can get started in 4 easy steps. Start getting paid in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. The great part about using Hedge is you can skip the exchange experience altogether and have your Bitcoin sent directly to a wallet you control. Self-custody is key, and GetHedge is giving you the power. Hedge is here to make it easy to stack those sats month after month. Bitcoin, it's a long-term play, so what are you waiting for? Start living on the Hedge, and don't forget to let them know that you heard about Hedge from Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. Use my referral link at mattjmoore.com, or you can go to gethedge.io. Again, that's gethedge.io.
Short-form video content is taking over social media, and with only seconds to capture someone's attention, our team can help you stand out from the crowd. At Sooner Marketing Solutions, we'll produce and publish engaging TikToks, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. If you feel like you're falling to the wayside and missing out on the exposure that you deserve, click the link in the description to get Sooner results now.
We are back, America. Guess what? It's round 3 of my favorite show, America's Bitcoin-focused radio show. That's Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. And whether you are a Bitcoin lover, newbie, or expert, yes, this show has a little bit of everything for everyone. And we welcome those haters too. And you know what? We hope that we can convince you. And if not, you can send me a carefully typed out insult in email format, and I would absolutely love to read it. But the truth is, this show is one of the only syndicated radio shows that's dedicated to that topic known as Bitcoin. And we talk about so many wonderful things, whether it be your freedom, the history of money, technology, where the world is going. Sometimes that gets into politics, but it's very, very informative and very entertaining. And on today's show, we've been talking about one of the greatest events in the world, and that's Bitcoin 2023. And if you want to meet some of the biggest names in Bitcoin, then this is the event. This is the place to be. If you want to learn, network, party, enjoy the beach, then hey, take somebody with you. Join us at Bitcoin 2023 in Miami, Florida, and we have a sweet deal for you. So I want you to write this down. You got a pen, maybe you pull out your iPhone, type this into your notes. If you want a 10% discount on these tickets, go to mattjmoore.com and click that button that takes you to the official conference page. And once you're there, use our promo code BTC Radio, and that'll get you 10% off of those tickets. And yes, the ticket prices will continue to go up as the more time passes. So the sooner you buy, the better. But in the building, who is helping me with this wonderful conversation, is my producer, Brian LaRue. He is sitting on that soundboard, making sure that we're easy to the ear. Brian, thanks for helping us sound great. You have, again, put together wonderful intros and outros. You are the mastermind behind our audio here. If people wanted to hire you for these wonderful talents that you have, where would they go?
Well, you can certainly go to my website, and you can reach me there, Facebook, Instagram. But obviously, my website is a great place to go, and it would be at beyondyouproductions.com.
That's right. And we are sitting here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, even though this show is broadcasted in LA, Seattle, and Atlanta, and all over the world, considering that we're online as a podcast as well on every major platform. But this show has been recorded in Blue Studio, which is a part of SoonerMarketingSolutions.com. So if you got a business or a personal need that you need some marketing done, well, go check them out, SoonerMarketingSolutions.com. All right, so back to the conversation. Our guest today has been Brandon Green, and he works for the group that puts on that wonderful conference known as Bitcoin 2023. Brandon, welcome back to segment 3. And again, one more time, we've got people tuning into this show all the time. You never know where they're driving or where they're going, or hey, maybe they got home and turned on the radio. But tell the listeners who you are just one more time.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Brandon Green, and I work for BTC Inc., which is the parent company of the Bitcoin conference.
Brandon, I am obviously, if you've heard our little commercial there for the Bitcoin conference during the commercial break, or even kind of just me talking about it, I try to be a good hype man for the conference. But if you were to give a compelling pitch on why somebody should attend this conference, what would you personally say?
Yeah, and you do a great job. I have to give you props, man. The thing that I've been telling people as of late is basically this. If you're listening to this, and maybe because this is syndicated worldwide, this doesn't quite apply, but if you're listening closely to this, it's because you're still interested in Bitcoin. And the fact of the matter is if you're interested in Bitcoin now, where we're in this bottom of the bear market, where we're in the doldrums, and it can feel like maybe the whole party is over and that, Bitcoin has failed or something. If you're still paying attention and you're still interested, it means that come the next bull market, come the next growth phase for Bitcoin, you're going to be all in and you're going to be focused on it, and you're not going to be able to look away, and your entire attention is going to be, devoted to Bitcoin. And you're going to think to yourself, man, I wish I was doing more in Bitcoin. I wish I was working in Bitcoin. I wish I was helping grow this thing. I wish I was more plugged in. And so the thing is it's difficult to break into the industry. It's difficult to meet the people you want to meet. It's difficult to work for the companies you want to work for. I mean, the talent pool versus the number of companies and the size of those companies is just very mismatched. And so you need these opportunities to really plug in and learn about the industry, about the people working in it, about the companies that are helping empower Bitcoin, and about really kind of the just the movement in general. And so this Bitcoin conference is truly, I believe, the best place to go and meet everyone you need to meet, learn what you need to learn, and build the relationships that will kind of propel your future in this space. whether it's just tangential or whether you're fully committed and working in the space and helping build Bitcoin alongside us.
And I will give testimony to that. In fact, Bitcoin 2021 was the first one that I went to, and we started this radio show in a station here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I got my first sponsor for the show by having conversations in the exhibit hall with a company known as Hedge that had a presence there. But I will tell you, if you're interested in getting involved in the space, I mean, this really is the place to meet people. And it was so funny because just starting out, I didn't really think that a lot of people may have been listening to our program since we just started in Tulsa. But funny enough, you get the right people on, and it's like I was in the trade hall because I wore this shirt that said "Ask me about my Bitcoin radio show," and it had a little QR code on it to the website. And people would come up to me like, "Oh yeah, I listened to your show when you had Greg Foss on that one time," and blah 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 blah. And like, so it really is a magical place, a magical experience if you're really looking to break into the industry. And as somebody who loves, like me, likes to communicate and entertain, well, if you're going to start something, hey, go to the conference. I promise you, it's definitely worth it. So, Brandon, okay, so we are offering a 10% discount code with our BTC Radio promo code, and I've been telling people to go to our website because there is a link that in a whole section that takes them to the conference site. But what is the actual URL for the conference?
Yeah, absolutely. It's super easy. It's b.tc, it's like BTC, b.tc/conference. It'll get you right there. Okay.
Absolutely. Definitely go to that URL. Brandon, I wanted to ask this question, and I'm sure you work for a phenomenal company, but what's been your favorite thing about working for the conference?
Yeah. So, I mean, man, there's so many things that are fun about it. So many things that are harrowing about it. We'll put it that way. The conference is like, it's so much fun when you actually, it's such a great payoff when it actually happens because, we're in the background basically building this thing 11 months and, 3 weeks out of the year. And then we only have this really narrow window where it all just kind of comes together and we get to just throw our hands in the air and enjoy it. But yeah, it's really that payoff that just makes it all worth it. That moment where you show up and all of the things are being built around the expo hall and the stages, and you start seeing people pour in, and you start, especially those moments where, I personally like to jump up on the stage and hang out in the wings during some of the crazy content that we have. And I just love to watch the audience and just see the impact that some of these conversations, some of these announcements have on people. And it's just, it's truly transformative. And I can tell that there are memories that are made at this event that people will take with them for the rest of their lives. And so to be able to kind of be a part of that and to help make that happen is just so special. And so that's my favorite part for sure.
Well, we're about to wrap up the show, but hey, Brandon, if people liked what they heard from you, where can they find you or follow your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you want to follow me specifically, I'm at BrandBTC on Twitter. Otherwise, follow Bitcoin Magazine. Check out what we're doing over there, and of course, come meet me at the conference. If you see a guy running around like a chicken with his head cut off, that's probably me. Feel free to stop me and give me a high five or a hug or something. And I would love to see you guys there.
Well, again, if you want to attend the conference and get a 10% discount on your tickets, go to mattjmoore.com. Go to that section that says BTC 2023. You can use our promo code once you're on the conference site. That's BTC Radio for a 10% discount. Brandon, it's been a wonderful conversation. I appreciate you joining us, and I look forward to meeting you at the conference. So if you're listening to this show, hey, join us next week, same time, same place, because we always have wonderful conversations and content to cover. This has been Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. And until next time, my friends, we will see you, like I said, next week, same time, because every week we're going to prepare you for this new digital age. All right, we'll see ya.